How many people? Looks like 6 people here. Hey, everybody. Welcome. I have had a busy morning. I just got back from Boise or near Boise to have a follow-up with the doctor who did my surgery on my back about 3 weeks ago. That was like 15 minutes of nothing. Like, looks like you're doing all right. You need some pills, and we'll set up physical therapy and see you in 6 weeks. I'm like, gee, you mean I just drove like half an hour to do that? But everything's good. I mean, I'm happy about that. And the pain is decreasing every day, even though I said, hey, yeah, give me some pills there just in case. Because when the pain comes on, I don't like it. So it helps me sleep. So we're going to be talking about, building and marketing to an audience. So we all do Udemy. Most of us, I believe everybody in here has probably found this blab through Udemy, which is a platform for online courses. But people like Phil and Matt and myself also have websites where Phil's got a whole bunch of stuff set up, and we can take a look at what he's doing. And Matt is shifting to that format for his website called skillhands.com. And then I have dennisjsmith.com, where I have my courses available for sale, and they connect to my landing pages on Udemy. And I do landing pages for marketing the courses. So we're probably going to show you some of that stuff. We're going to talk about lead pages a little bit, which is what I use, and Matt uses Optimized Press. And I'm not sure, like, Phil, do you use something for a landing page specifically?
No, right now for my courses, I'm just using Teachable, which has pretty nice landing pages, but I haven't really bought any sort of lead pages for any other sort of landing pages yet.
Yeah, which, I mean, Teachable, I signed up, and man, I get so distracted. I went through the very first lecture of that, and it's really nice. And, I was telling Matt, like, how I like what you were doing, and he said that's Teachable. And I'm like, oh, okay, I know what Teachable is. So excuse me just for a moment here. I'm like, I think I'm getting a cold or something. But anyway, we can talk about that kind of stuff. I'm just logging into my lead pages account to bring up some of the templates that I've done. But I think that we're pretty much like, are you using WordPress for that?
Yep, I got my website on WordPress. Yep.
Okay, did you almost say you have your wife on WordPress? Hey, honey, let's go to WordPress. So anyway, I use WordPress. I've been using WordPress for several years, and I've been going to Seattle sometimes for what's called WordPress WordCamp, where you meet up with other people who are using WordPress. And I have a course that teaches marketing with WordPress, because when I wrote my first book, I used WordPress as a tool to start building my audience and marketing to my audience with WordPress. And that, along with MailChimp and lead pages and a lot of the other stuff out there, there's some things that we're going to talk about. I'm going to talk about, like ConvertKit, and Matt's got some things that he's doing, because I have MailChimp, and MailChimp actually has what's called automated, and that's autoresponders, which allows you to do what they call drip marketing. So you have somebody sign up for your mailing list through maybe what's called a lead magnet, which is something that you give them in exchange for them giving you their email address. So it might be a document that 5 ways to do something, or maybe an ebook, or maybe your Udemy course or something like that for free. And then get them to sign up for your mailing list. And then when they sign up, you give them the first initial welcome. And then right after that, it's the, a follow-up email. And then 3 days later, it might be something else. And you can do that with things like lead pages. You can probably do that with optimized press. I don't know about Teachable if you can do that, but we'll talk to Phil about that. And then I know like things like ConvertKit and some of the other ones that are out there do what we call drip marketing. So what we'll do is we'll do introductions first. And while we're doing introductions, if you have a WordPress website, go ahead and put in the URL in the comments for your WordPress website. And we'll go with, Matt, are you ready to go?
Yeah, I'm ready. I ate my grilled cheese on the backstage or whatever you want to call it. And we're ready to go here.
Okay. Go ahead and rate your grilled cheese first and then let us know who you are.
Did you say rate my grilled cheese?
Give it a rating.
It's pretty good. I have pepper jack cheese. Anyways, I'm Matt Bernstein. I like grilled cheeses with pepper jack cheese and ketchup. I'm an instructor on Udemy, and I teach people how to make money online because there is an income gap and an uneven distribution of wealth throughout the world. I learned this while I was studying to become a communication major at the University of Massachusetts at Amherst, and I'm trying to do my part and contribute into solving that by teaching people how to make money online with a very low upfront costs. We live in a day and age where anyone can basically go online and add value to other people's lives, whether that be selling a digital product, whether it be an ebook, a video course, anything. You can share your wealth of knowledge through video courses, podcasts, through blogging, and even creating your own physical products and doing stuff like that. So I'm just trying to do my part.
Awesome. I'm closing out things as you're speaking. So, Phil, go ahead and let everyone know a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, hey everyone. My name is Phil Ebiner, and I am mostly a video creator, video editor, videographer. That's sort of my passion and what I went to school for. And over the past few years, I started teaching online courses, teaching my skills to other people. So I have almost 40 classes on video creation, photography, design, motion graphics, all sorts of things. And I started out hosting them on Udemy. I've expanded to some other platforms. And it got to the point where I was making enough money from these online classes and other digital products that I was able to quit my full-time job in May of 2015, and I've just been following my passions and teaching online classes. And yeah, I love what Matt talked about with just trying to bring down that income gap and also starting businesses really with low costs. I mean, I've tried to start a lot of businesses in my life, from when I was a kid selling baseball cards to selling stuff on eBay and all sorts of things, but creating an online business can be really cheap and easy. Maybe not that easy. There's a lot of things that you actually have to learn if you want to do it on the cheap, but it's definitely possible. And we're going to be talking about lots of like plugins and lead pages and tools that we use, but there's also a lot of free tools that you can use. And I've always tried to use free tools when I've created my website and email list and lead pages, or splash pages. So there's a lot of free ways to do it that I'm excited to chat about.
I didn't know you sold baseball cards. I used to sell baseball cards on eBay too. It's funny.
That's funny. I was like selling baseball cards to like my friends.
Oh, okay.
That's funny. I have not sold baseball cards on eBay, but I've bought baseball cards on, I think we talked about eTops or something like that, where I still have them out there that I own them, but I've never had them shipped to me. But I bought them because I thought they were going to have some value later, and I looked and they have no value at all. So anyway, I see that some people have been putting out their websites out there, so maybe we'll take a look at some of them as we go. And my name is Dennis, and I've been on Udemy since July of last year. I have about 7 courses out. I got on Udemy after a friend of mine had put out a course on Twitter for authors. And my first course was WordPress marketing because I actually had that on my WordPress website and was using lead pages. I was able to use lead pages because I had a client who bought it, and she said, I'm not going to use it right now, so you go ahead and use lead pages. So I've been working with lead pages and WordPress and all of that over the last year and a half to kind of start building some of these ways to bring income in, including Udemy and the affiliate marketing that I do. And so I thought that it would be a great idea for us to talk about this kind of stuff today. We're here in the second day of the Black Friday promotion for those of you who are Udemy instructors. And, that's great. The money is rolling in for, a lot of instructors. And then I hear some instructors are kind of disappointed, which I think it's a little bit early to be disappointed in sales because I think a lot of them take place towards the end of the promotion. And I'm just a believer like Matt and Phil, where you shouldn't rely on one stream of income, and that one stream for a lot of us being Udemy. And so just talking about WordPress so that we can give you some ideas on how you can build your website, or if you haven't, at least get started, and then go into some of these things that we're talking about, or we're going to be talking about, like MailChimp. So why don't we go ahead, Matt, you want to go ahead and start off and just kind of talk about maybe the process that you've started going through with Skillhance, like where you were and where you are now and where you plan to go?
Let Phil do it first because he's got more limited time than me.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, Phil, you're on, and I'm gonna try putting you in co-host again. For some reason, it looks like it might have dropped you out. So let me see what. Oh no, it was. I hate this thing. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah. So WordPress, for the very beginners out there, WordPress. There's two. WordPress.org and WordPress.com, and WordPress.com is for blogs, and WordPress.org is for creating your website, like a self-hosted website. And I just found a need to create my own website to promote, not only just promoting my courses, but doing a lot of just writing and blogging myself, just because I found that I was putting videos on YouTube, the chat, and it's gone through a number of revisions. And in the beginning, it was mostly just a blog with my latest blog posts. And for a while, I was trying to sell courses on there. In the beginning, I didn't have an email list, and so throughout time, I've sort of just started all these things that you're supposed to be doing, like building up your email list, blogging, trying to use like landing pages to sell courses. And the problem that I've still have today, and I've had for a long time, is that I have all of these different interests that I teach about. So I teach about photography and video making, but also I teach about building online businesses and making money online. And so putting all that on one website has been difficult for me because I have different audiences, and I haven't really figured out if the best way to do it is creating multiple websites or just having one home base and trying to separate, or just have a nice process for people to find what they're looking for. Finally, using teachable.com, I've been able to host my own courses on my own site. And so it's pretty nice now on my website. You can click the courses link up above, and it takes you to the course directory, which has my branding, and it's not like you're sending people to Udemy or Skillshare or anywhere else that you might be hosting your courses. And so that's really nice, and I'm excited about that. And I've just been trying to do a lot to promote my courses on my own site hosted with Teachable. I haven't done any big email blasts yet, but I have been putting links in my YouTube videos and blog articles that link to those courses rather than on Udemy. And I've seen a little bit of return so far. But I just think it's important to start your own website and With WordPress, you just have a lot of control because unlike using a website builder site where you pick your own theme and they have certain tools for you, WordPress just has almost an infinite amount of theme choices and plugins that allow you to do anything. So if you want to build a membership site, or if you want to host your courses straight on your WordPress site, or if you want to create landing pages or have a forum or build your email list, you can do all of that with plugins within WordPress. On the back end of WordPress, you have to buy hosting. And so sorry if I'm going through all this kind of like quickly, but and all over the place. But on the back end of WordPress, you have to host your site. So it has to live somewhere. And I use Bluehost. I don't know what you guys use, but I use Bluehost. And that's almost my biggest expense that I have to run my business. It's about like $5 a month. And aside from that, I'm not really spending much money on any other tools or plugins right now.
That's going to break you.
Yeah. Yeah. So, so that's kind of what I've been doing. I don't know if that was really what you wanted me to talk about, but
no, that's fine, because I think that that's a great intro, because some people might not be familiar with WordPress. And so, they have to understand that there's two different ways that you can get WordPress, but the self-hosted option that he mentioned is the best way to utilize the power of plugins and theme choices with WordPress. And that is correct. Going to wordpress.org is where you're going to find a lot of great information on WordPress. I've been using it for probably about 5 years now, and DennisJSmith.com was my first website. Now I've got a lot of different domains that I'm running WordPress on, because I can use, like you talked about, you use a lot of the free stuff, which I had been doing for quite a while, but then I kind of graduated into some of the themes and plugins that are premium that you have to pay for. And that's because I wanted more flexibility with things like Gravity Forms, which gives me the ability to connect to PayPal so that I can sell stuff on my website and take payment. And there's other things out there, like, with e-commerce, like WooCommerce is really popular with WordPress. But Gravity Forms was an affordable way for me to do that. Both of my affiliate marketing websites are ran using the Gravity Forms plugin, and then another plugin that works in conjunction with that. So what are some of your favorite plugins that you use for your websites?
Yeah, I'm going to look at my list right now. I've tried a lot, and you were talking about landing pages, and there was a landing page plugin that I had used for a while. I think it was WP Splash Page. Mm-hmm. Or WordPress landing pages. But I took that one off because I haven't been using it. But so some of the ones that I use are, and I should just type these in the chat box, are Contact Form 7, which is a nice way to do a contact form. And you can, I think that's the one that, I don't know if it's that one that connects it with Discus commenting, but Discus is another nice, I think it's Discus or something like that.
Yeah,
Like,
wait, so
it's just like a.
Oh, okay, and that's like how you do discussions on it.
Yeah, just like chats, or like the commenting on over every post or anything like that.
See, I'm learning stuff because I didn't have a contact form yet, or the discuss things for my courses. So those are two things that I was missing out of everything.
Yeah, there's different ways that you can do that, though. Like Discuss, I had been using it for a while, and now I use one called Livefire, which is LIVFYRE, and I'll put that into the chat box. So just keep in mind that there's many ways to do that. Discuss, the reason why it's so popular is because a lot of the major websites and news websites, like, let's say, for example, New York Times or some of the major news organizations use that. And so once you have an account and you come across it on a WordPress website, it makes it easy for somebody to sign in, because the commenting system, when we talk about commenting, when you write a blog post, underneath typically is where you want people to comment. So you start a discussion on whatever topic you're talking about. And so the WordPress commenting, there's a name that I'm trying to think about, it isn't as robust as something like Discuss. And so that's why you want to take a look at something like that as an option. Contact Form 7 is really nice, but again, I just went to Gravity Forms, and there's another one out there too that I've used before that's free, so we can take a look at that and share that with people too. But some great information.
Yeah, and I'm just posting a bunch of them that I use. So WP Super Cache, it just caches your website for visitors so that it speeds it up. It speeds up images, and that's actually still a problem that I have with my website, that it's kind of slow, I think, for people. But this sort of speeds it up for people visiting your site multiple times. Pretty Link Lite is the free version of Pretty Link, which allows you to create nice links that redirect to pages you want. So for example, for my site, I have videoschoolonline.com, and I can create, if I create a course that I'm hosting on even Udemy that's about photography, I could create a link that says videoschoolonline.com/photography that basically redirects to that course or whatever URL I want. And it just makes it a lot easier and prettier. With your social networks auto poster allows me to automatically post my articles on a number of social media networks right within WordPress. And there's a lot of different auto posting plugins, I think, but this is the one that I use. MailPoet newsletters is still what I use to create my email list. It's a free plugin for up to 2,000 subscribers. I'm actually on the paid version now because I passed that, but it's right within WordPress. They have really nice looking email templates, and you can use other plugins like this next one, Magic Action Box, to create your opt-in forms on your website. And it's just a nice free version if you want to get started and you don't want to have to purchase something like Aweber or MailChimp. I think MailChimp is also free for the first 2,000 subscribers.
That's correct.
But this one's like right within WordPress, and someday I'm sure I'm going to have to actually move off of it. But for now, it does what I want. Gumroad is a plugin and a site that I use to sell digital products. And so that plugin just allows me to put those products on my site nicely. Cresta Social Share Counter. So this is when you go on a blog article, and on the left side or on the bottom, you can share this article just by clicking a social media icon, and you can also see how many times it's shared. So that's something I added semi-recently. And then the last one is just this backup WordPress plugin, which is so important because one of my websites that I used to run was onlineteachingcareer.com, and it got hacked, and I was never able to recover it. So I had to, and I wasn't backing it up. So luckily I hadn't done too much with it, but if my site like Video School Online went down, it would really dramatically affect my business, and it would be really tough to come back from that. So having your site back up, and this does it automatically every week, and it emails you the backup file, is really important if you're hosting your own site.
You're doing shared hosting, right?
Share? What do you mean? Oh, well, not on my own server?
Yeah. See, at some point, I think that you might consider managed hosting, because I can see your site traffic increasing to the point where you're going to need something like that. Because Matt and I have been talking about GoDaddy and some of the other hosting companies out there now have hosting on a solid state drive server, which a lot of my WordPress friends who are experts in WordPress have talked about the performance gains that you get by moving your site over to a solid state drive, because my MacBook is solid state drive, which for those of you who don't know is no moving parts. Typical hard drive, I was explaining to Matt yesterday, has what's called a platter and arms that move across to get the data. And you would think like today, like with our broadband speeds and all of that, that things would be much faster, but there's still hardware that slows that whole process down. So that's something that I've been considering for my two big sites, because you don't want them to be slow, because Amazon's done studies, and for just a fraction of a second, a company like Amazon loses thousands of dollars because people will click off of a website if it doesn't load quickly, which I find kind of funny, considering that I grew up in the days of these modems that were insanely slow, but everything was just text back then and not like today what we're doing, blab. I mean, who would have ever thought that we could do something like this, you know?
Yeah. Do you know like how much traffic your site needs to have or should have to move up to that? Because right now I'm actually at like around 13,000 visitors per month. So
that's pretty good. I get like about 4,000 visitors on one of my websites. And no, I don't know, but I could ask like, a friend of mine who's an expert in WordPress. One of them works for Yoast, Yoast SEO, which is a plugin that we didn't talk about, but I think one of the most, and we'll talk, Matt and I will talk some more about stuff, but Yoast SEO is very important. It's just like this WP Security is another one that I use to keep the hackers away from your website, the bad people, because you need to back up your website, but you also need to keep those hackers away, that when they're attacking your website, you need some kind of defense so they don't get to that point where they can cause damage. Because that happened to me on one of my websites where I had some malware put onto my website and it affected the Gravity Forms plugin. And I was able to go in, because I know enough about WordPress, I was going to the database out of there. So I was able to save the website, so I'm more cautious about that stuff. So I'm glad that you brought that up. And Matt, he does that now with his website. It's critical to have that on there.
What was that one called? WP Security?
I'm pretty sure it's WP Security. I brought up my website because I was going to talk about, we wanted you to be able to get your stuff in because you're leaving pretty soon, and then Matt and I can talk about our stuff. But I'm pretty sure it's WP Security that I put on here, and it sends me warnings when somebody's trying to log into my website, and it's consistently that they're trying to hack, logging into the website. It's
because I have one, but it's not that one that's blocks hackers like that, but I want to use whatever's the best. So
this one is actually pretty good. It's so good that I've forgotten what the name is. I use Pretty Link on DennisJSmith.com. WordFence. WordFence is the one that's really good. That's the one that you want to use for security.
Also, if you just limit your logins to like three times limit.
Yeah.
Oh, how do you do that?
Well, there's a plugin for that, but also WP that WordFence one that I was just telling you about, I believe has the capability to do that. Limit the logins. Like, that's a good idea. That's a great idea. What Matt said right there is that you only give them so many tries. But if you're one of those like me who sometimes forgets my passwords because I have too many WordPress websites, then you're either going to get locked out for 20 minutes or you retrieve a lost password and reset it again. Because after 3, you're out until it resets itself. And that can be about 20 minutes, which I mean, if you need to walk away from the computer, maybe it's a good idea, to walk away and then just come back and try it again.
Yeah, Juan E. Galvan mentioned that LastPass is great for passwords and protection. I use that. I just started using that. It's really, really nice. It's like a browser plugin that allows you to save your passwords to your browser, basically. And yeah, you never have to log into anything again, pretty much.
Yeah, I used to have a laptop from HP that I used my finger to scan into a website. But
oh, nice.
But yeah, and there are things out there that you can do that way. But I mean, so many passwords for so many different websites to remember and all of that. And you don't want to get locked out of your WordPress website for sure.
Well, you could say forgot password and then they'll email you.
Yes, that's what, but once you're locked out, you're locked out. You can't, even if you email the password, you still can't get in for 20 minutes once you lock yourself out. So
it's a security measure that we could, get locked out for 20 minutes, Oh, and what Chris O'Connor said too, you can whitelist your IP so you don't count
towards the lockouts. Good idea. Good idea. So yeah, I just we talked about the plugins that you use, and you said that you use MailPoet. So you're not using MailChimp at all?
MailPoet.
Did I say MailPoet?
Yeah, yeah, you said MailPoet.
Okay, you got a poor internet signal is what Blob is telling us.
No.
You're out of here as co-host.
Yeah.
So MailPoet, does that allow you to do automated emails?
Yeah,
autoresponders?
You can set up your own autoresponder sequence. You can set up an automatic newsletter that sends out whenever you post new content. So I have I have my opt-in form that for people who sign up for my lead magnet, it automatically sends them their free ebook. And you can pretty much do everything with it.
So maybe give us an example of something that you're doing now. I signed up for your class. I don't think I've seen any reminders on that, how's it going or something like that. Do you do something like that? Am I missing something?
No, so for the classes on Teachable that I'm hosting on my site.
Yeah, the one that you gave out in the last lab that we did, the mini course. I haven't seen any follow up on that. Do you have something set up for that?
I don't have anything set up for any of my courses using Teachable, but I think you can do that through Teachable, and I haven't set up any of that. I'm still setting up all that stuff, so.
Yeah, I understand that there's a lot that you have to do. I'm just thinking just to kind of explain to people, as an example, that mini course that you could create something like Phil has done, which is a great mini course on not WordPress, on Udemy, that kind of goes into his full course. And what you could do is, if you had something like that out there, and I'm sure Matt's going to be doing this on his website, is that you follow up with people after they've joined your list. And even myself, when people sign up for my website, $1 courses, I need to send them a sequence of emails instead of, like I was telling Matt on Sunday, here you go, here's the deals for $1, because otherwise you might lose some people that way from your list. Whereas if you're kind of saying, hi again, I wanted to see, just remind you that on Sunday you're going to get your first list of courses that are $1, but hey, for right now, here's this one that I think that you'll really enjoy, and put that out to them, something like that. Are you doing that anywhere on your websites yet, or?
So the only thing that I have really done that has worked is a few days or maybe 2 days after
Getting
putting the
some-
list and ask them how can I help you? What problems are they having right now? And I actually was listening to a lot of podcasts that saying it's not necessarily the best thing to do just to ask what's your problem. You have to be more specific. But even this email has had a lot of success with people emailing back saying this is what their problems are, this is what they're struggling with, and that helps me create articles, YouTube tutorials, and topics for courses because I know exactly what my audience is looking for. Mm-hmm. And so that's the best thing that I've been doing. I haven't done much in terms of following up with students who sign up for my courses on my site. That's something that I need to do.
Yeah, well, that's still good. I mean, like, I think you talked about that last time, that finding people's pain points and seeing what you can help them with, which leads to more content and even more courses by getting that information. Instead of like, here's a course, here's a deal. It's like, what can I help you with? What can I teach, or what kind of information can I send you to help you be successful? And I think a lot of times that we forget to do that. So yeah. So I'm gonna have to take off because I'm getting coffee with Dave, one of our friends. But I do have, speaking of free classes on my site, I have a Bluehost class. So it will help you get started with if you need help just setting up your WordPress site. And it's free, and I already have it. So this is like the perfect opportunity to give it away. So yeah, you can sign up there. It's like a couple years old, so the layout of Bluehost and WordPress might look a little different, but the process is the same. Yeah, if Bluehost website looks the same 2 years ago or now that it did 2 years ago, we're in trouble.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for joining us. I certainly appreciate it. Let's say hello to Dave for us, and tell him that there's another guy that posted that is a skater in LA that maybe he wants to get together with or something.
Yeah, I know. I see his pictures. He's pretty rad.
Yeah. All right. Take care.
Thank you, Phil. Take care. Say hi, Dave.
All right. So now it's just you and me. So I guess it's your turn to talk about Skillhance. And what I would like you to talk about is just talk about the whole process of what you wanted to do and where you were at when you started and where you're at now.
Okay, so that's kind of an open-ended question and overwhelming for me to do. So I'll do my best, and I'll do what I was going to say anyways. So hopefully most of you are Udemy instructors, and if not, like, it doesn't matter. If you're somewhere else that you're not in control, you're just using them as another sales channel. The most important thing is you want direct communication with your students or with your customers. And by doing that, you need your own website and you need to be building up an email list. That is the most important thing that I could tell you probably here today. And if you want to follow along, this is the website that I've built in, I don't know, just like 2-3 weeks using optimized press. And basically, I don't know how to do this on a blab. Like, should I just show people? I don't understand.
Yeah, I think that's the best way. Like, if they follow along, if they're connected, like somewhere at home, because Blab doesn't have the ability yet to do screen sharing, and just maybe kind of just give them some visuals and stuff like that.
Okay, so my homepage would basically, it outlines the 6 different categories that I teach about on Udemy: eBay, Udemy, WordPress, which you'll get my WordPress profits course, like how to market your Udemy courses for it. If you wait until the end of the blab, I'll give it to you for free. And then, I know finance, investing, and productivity. So I kind of spread it out like that because what you want to do and how you can get students from Udemy, which is allowed, onto your site is basically you want to send an educational announcement. So let's say, for example, my educational announcement to my students on one of my Udemy courses. I write a nice blog article, or even I post this blab onto the blog. and I'm just like, hey, check out like Dennis and I like answered Udemy students' questions on this blab. Like, come check it out or whatever. And it's on my website, and I link the educational announcement on Udemy to a link on my website. And then now that they're on my website and it's like totally good because it pertains to Udemy and the subject that I'm teaching, and I'm trying to add value, and I'm not trying to just collect emails. You don't have to enter in your email to look at this. So now that they're browsing on my website, whatever, and that's why it's important to like add links or related articles so that can keep your student can keep engaged on your website. So basically, Optimized Press allowed me to do this, and I've spent design the website and set it up like this. I've spent probably $200 on premium WordPress themes through ThemeForest, and none of them were quite as easy and allowed me to have as much freedom to design the website how I wanted to. Because remember, now that you're off of Udemy, you don't have to necessarily follow everything that Udemy wants you to do. You can have a business plan now with your own website that is unconventional as you want it to be. So that means you can design a website the way that you want to. And I think Optimized Press like allowed me to do it. Like, just look at their videos. Like, it's only $99 and then $39 recurring each year. And like, I'm not an affiliate of it. I'm just saying, like, Phil was talking about Teachable. Teachable charges you $29 a month. So that adds up to, if you just have Teachable for a year, you're already paying double than what you would with Optimized Press. Optimized Press, you just pay up front. So I'm all about teaching a low cost way to do well and make money doing so. What else should I say, Dennis?
Well, I mean, you've been building this website. One of the things that we've talked about before is the reason why you built it is because you wanted to have more control over your income rather than one stream of income through Udemy. And so, you came up with the name, that bought the domain. There's a whole process that you go through. Figuring out a domain name for your website first and searching for that. And when you go to, like Phil had talked about that, he uses Bluehost. Matt and I use HostGator, and I have a reseller account for HostGator because I resell hosting to people that I know who have websites and had a small hosting business that I'm probably going to let go at some point, and just refer people to HostGator or some of these other companies that are out there. So you get your website, you get your domain name, you get your hosting, and hosting is where your website resides on a server somewhere out there. It could be in the United States, it could be anywhere around the world. And when somebody types in Skillhance or DennisJSmith.com, it goes out there and finds the website and brings it back to the browser. So that's the first part of creating a website. And then installing WordPress on your website, and the hosting company gives you the tools to do that. So it's usually pretty easy to do that. And I've done, like in my book, I've got some information on setting up WordPress, and Matt's got a course out on setting up WordPress, and Phil left you with the Bluehost video or course that he's done, which would walk you through that setup. So then you would go into, it's called cPanel, and that's basically where you go in and install applications like WordPress so that it's on your website. And then you log into what's called a dashboard, and that would be like the back end. That's what you see and not what the end user, when they're going to your website, sees. And that's where you start the whole creation process by adding a theme. And Matt talked about like that he decided on Optimized Press. I go to ThemeForest because I like the variety that they have there. And so if you have something specific in mind, like a topic that you teach or something like that, let's say it's accounting or something like that you specialize. Or if Jack is still with us, he specializes on fitness and healthy eating. And so there are definitely themes around that on ThemeForest, but sometimes those themes can be a little bit too much or a little bit bulky, and so they don't load as fast. And so things like Optimized Press give you the ability to customize that look and feel, because Matt's using Optimized Press and he's got his look to Skillhands, but somebody else might be using Optimized Press and have a totally different look. And it's not the only one out there. It's the one that he chose. And I think it's a good choice. Like he was saying, $97, did you say?
$99.
99 and then 39 for to update it to the newest.
Yeah, so I mean, it's $39 a year to renew it. If you wanted the additional support and if you wanted the software updates. If you didn't want to spend $39 a year, you don't have to. You still get to use the initial software that you have now. And I bought it 2 years ago, and then I just updated it honestly like a month ago. And I mean, it was fine. So I'll probably update it bi-yearly.
Yeah. And I mean, like he's saying, he looks at things when he's doing business. He looks at like, how can I get what I'm looking for me to do business, but also keep the cost of doing business low? And for me, I am a little bit different. When I look at that kind of stuff, I'm looking for the tools that are going to help me grow my business. And I might go with something that's got a subscription to it, where I pay monthly. But if you're going to go that route, you better be prepared to start bringing in some income. And that's one of the reasons why I went with MailChimp. He uses MailChimp because it's free up to the first 2,000 subscribers. And by the time you get to 2,000 subscribers, you better be making some income, because after that, they're going to start charging you. But you should be to that point in your business by the time, if you were able to go out there and get 2,000 subscribers, then you should be able to go out and get those 2,000 subscribers and more, a certain percentage of them, to buy what you're offering. And so that's why you have to go through the process. Matt has courses out on Udemy that he's going to sell over on Skillhands. I have courses on Udemy that I can put onto DennisJSmith.com or another domain if I want to. And the same with you. If you're a Udemy instructor, you don't have to have it just on Udemy. Now, Udemy is a wonderful platform to start with, and that's why I started with it, because it was easy for me to put it on there and for them to bring me the traffic. But at some point, I have to start building my own audience. And so that's why we're talking about this stuff today, like Optimized Press and WordPress and lead pages, which I'm going to talk about in a little bit, and some other options that you have out there so you can see what these look like and figure out what's best for you. So now you're in the process of, so you haven't really started marketing the site yet, because you want to get it to where you want it, where you're comfortable, before you kind of say, hey, everybody, come look at my website, right?
Well, I have gotten a lot of feedback from my content that I've created, and I think it can be improved, and I want it to be, number one, unique from Udemy. So I want to add even more value onto Udemy. And instead of using Udemy as like the main platform of how I want to operate, I want my website to have I want my website to be the main thing of how my business operates. So that would mean making unique content, making better content, and so I need to switch that up a little bit and even make the content on Udemy better. But I just want to make the stuff on my website different, like more information, like diving deep. So I gotta do that, and I gotta do like a huge overhaul of my content before I want to start marketing it.
Yeah, I mean, you're ahead of me in the process, because I've had my website out for several years, and now that I'm doing Udemy and it's doing well for me, and I've got some other stuff around Udemy, where I'm helping other Udemy instructors out, that I need to start thinking about laying the website out so that it's got the right look and feel for what I'm doing. So Juan is asking, how often are you going to be updating your site with new content? Oh, so you replied already before I could even look at that.
Yeah, I mean, I have no idea. I just want to do like a huge content overhaul, just batch it together, and just focus on all that and not on marketing. And focus on a bunch of other stuff that I can either talk about now or we can get to what a website would allow you to do, because we're talking about building and marketing your audience, right? So we want to talk about how to build up your audience and market to them. And should I just talk about that now or no?
Yeah, and then and then I'll start talking about lead pages, because while you're doing that, I'll go over to lead pages, because then I can paste some stuff so people can have an idea of like the things that you can do with something like lead pages.
Okay, so using Udemy as a sales channel instead of like your main one and only with the website, you can offer so many other things and additional revenue streams for yourself. So if you're still on my website, you could see that I'm offering coaching, which you can't do something on Udemy, where you could just see I offer like 3 different things. So it's basically like selling your byproduct. So I'm not just selling my courses, I'm selling a bunch of different services now. Also, you could see my resources page, where the goal of it is to literally just tell you every single resource that I use and find resourceful. And if you went to this page, you would know that I use GoDaddy to register my WordPress site. I use HostGator to host my website, and I use OptimizePress to design it. And then all these other things that you go through. So you might be asking, how is this a revenue stream? You become affiliates with this, and you basically every time somebody goes through one of my links and somebody buys a domain from GoDaddy, I get some money doing that. And I just think the goal of this website is to just tell my story to everybody and just be very, very transparent about what I'm doing and how I do business. So none of these links are affiliate right now. I'm just telling you like specifically what I do, and I want to lead you into the right direction. So becoming an affiliate of the products that you know and love is another revenue stream. Coaching is another revenue stream. And then just building all of these things. So when we're even doing this blab right now, I can post this to the website and have more of my audience doing that. And then I can turn the blab into a podcast and then list my podcast on iTunes. And then with that, I can make, if it's a video course, I can make those into audiobooks. I can make those into ebooks. You can make that into blog posts. You can post a picture on Instagram of a picture and then the best quote from either this blab or the video course. And it's just posting to all of these different platforms and hitting audiences across these platforms, because somebody who uses a podcast might not use a blab or might not watch your video course, but they'll read your ebook. So it's just hitting all of these different platforms and being able to have the reach of where your audience is going. And on top of that, knowing your platform. And we won't necessarily get through that today, but you need to know your platform and and if you're not a good fit for it, then no matter how hard you try, you're not going to succeed at it. So I guess to that point is you really need to know your product and what pains you're selling and why you're solving these pains and how. And then that could answer your part of your question about what platforms you should be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of different ways that you can go out and market yourself, including what we're doing right now. Blab is an excellent platform for instructors or somebody who's like an author or a small business or something like that, or an entrepreneur to market their business. While you were talking, I was just pulling up some of my lead pages, because now Matt uses OptimizePress and I use what's called lead pages, which is something that works in conjunction with WordPress to build landing pages and so much more. There's so many things that you can do with that. However, it's a subscription model so that you have to pay monthly, and the longer time frame that you pay for, then the lower monthly price that you get. So about the lowest monthly price with just some of the basic features, I believe, is around $29, and it goes up from there if you pay for a full 2 months, which can be several $100s once you get to that. So it just depends on what you're doing and where you're at in the process. I mean, like for myself, I'm using it because, again, I have a client who has been generous enough to allow me to use it, and she's covered the costs for me to use it. And at some point when she's ready to go with her business, then, we'll look at what she needs for her business. But let's see. What I wanted to show is, first of all, I wanted to bring this up, and this just depends even if you're mobile, that you can see this with lead pages because it's responsive. But what this is just a page that I designed to get people to sign up for my mailing list. In my book that I wrote, I have it in PDF format, and I offer it for free. And it's just a page with an opt-in, a photo of a woman holding a phone, hopefully drawing people's attention over to the opt-in form and the image of my book. And you can see things like conversion rates and stuff like that to see what's working best for you. And you can do, what they call A/B testing. How does this one perform how does A perform over B, to see which one is working best for you, and then put that one as the main way for people to opt in for your lead magnet. So that's something like, if you're going to start doing this, like one of the first things that you want to consider is a lead magnet so that you can get people to sign up. I'm using my book, and I'm using a WordPress course on Udemy, and other people use things like a PDF, like 5 top WordPress plugins or something like that, or your course, like let's say if you're doing a fitness course or something like that, 5 gluten-free recipes or something like that to give out to get people to opt into your email marketing list so that you can start marketing the other stuff that you have to offer them. And let's see here.
Should we start talking about analytics after you're done?
Yeah, that's fine.
On that, about conversion rates and all that other good stuff.
Yeah. So we talked about Blab. Well, another great way is webinars. And I've hosted webinars before, one on how to build your online audience using Google Hangouts, which I was able to embed into lead pages and broadcast out. And then now I'm able to share the replay on my website. So even though the webinar was done a long time ago, I can still have people come in and watch the webinar and comment and possibly join my mailing list. So, after it's done, I've got a plugin for Blab that pulls in the Blabs that I've done under my website. When you go into DennisJSmith.com and you look at resources, it'll say Blabs, and all of the Blabs that I've done, including the ones where Matt has joined me, you'll be able to see those and look at what we've talked about in the past. And you can do the same thing in order to build your audience. Now, a lot of this stuff, for some of us, it doesn't come overnight. It's a lot of work, but it pays off in the end. I've been doing this stuff now for a couple of years, and now that I'm doing Udemy and some of this other stuff and working with people like Matt, that I'm finally seeing the big picture. I know where I want to go with how I want to build. I don't necessarily want to call it an online empire, but my online following or something like that. And these are the tools. Thrive Themes, real quick, before we move on. So he's talked about optimized press. I want to paste this one in here. I have looked at it before. I've used one of the plugins, the guys who created Thrive Themes. I've used one of their other WordPress plugins. I've heard good things about Thrive Themes. And it does, I believe, the same thing that Optimized Press does. I've worked with Optimized Press, the first version of it, with some of my clients before in the past, and I think it's an excellent tool. But Thrive Themes has themes, it has leads, so lead generation, content building, because Phil, I think, was talking about, with WordPress, they have these plugins that help you drag and drop things. That's what I want to say, and help you create these really nice websites. Now, I was watching something with Thrive Themes the other day that kind of hit the point kind of hit me, where he was talking about that it's better to get something up that looks fairly good than to waste your time on building something really beautiful and never really going any further with it, which seems to happen a lot of times, where people want to focus on building like the most beautiful website instead of one that's actually good and functional and that you can continue to build on. So that's something that I kind of always let people know. And so Thrive Themes is something that you should take a look at. And then just one more here, Matt, that I wanted to share before we move on, which is one that I've talked to you about. Even though I use MailChimp, here in Boise where I'm at, there's someone that I know that started a business and he's actually doing really well with it. And if you're familiar with Pat Flynn, who is associated with Smart Passive Income, if you have never looked at Smart Passive Income, I really suggest that you go to that site and you start looking or listening to his podcasts and his information, because if you're someone who wants to build like this online following, and he's one of the ones that you want to take a look at, and that's Smart Passive Income. But he's using what's called ConvertKit, which actually does what's called drip marketing, and that drips things down to people into their inbox information once they've signed up for your list, because you don't want to lose them. You want to, say, hey, welcome. I just want to say hi again. Thanks for following me. Here's a free gift for you. And then maybe you get down to the fifth message or something like that. And then you can say, hey, by the way, I've got courses on Udemy, and here's one for a coupon or something like that for $7. So those are just some of the things that I use and that I'm aware of that I think that you should take a look at when it comes to building and marketing to an audience. So what do you want to talk about as far as analytics go? And I think that will probably be it after we're done talking about that, right?
Well, we'll invite Christy on after to talk about Weebly for her experience.
Yes.
And well, I just wanted to, you touched upon like functionality and making like a half decent website instead of like what you would think would be the most beautiful and perfect website. Mm-hmm. And I just wanted to say, you don't necessarily, you might think this is a functional and great website, but until you have users on it and giving you data back, then you don't really know. So when you use analytics, and this is a great tool that I use, SumoMe, if you go on there, it's all for free. They have upgrades that you can purchase per month, but right now I just use all the free ones and they do a great job. So they have what's called heat maps, where you can just integrate this with your WordPress website and it'll let you know where your users are clicking, how far down the page they're scrolling. And when you use this information, you could see that, okay, let's say you're analyzing one blog post and you see that 75% of your users drop off 1/4 of the way into your blog post. That might mean you have to redo the 1/4, the writing of your 1/4 to make it more interesting, or to engage, to do a better job engaging people. Yeah. And then most people do like an email opt-in at the bottom of their blog page. But using analytics, you could see that most people don't make it to the bottom of your blog post. So it would be smarter to post those email opt-in signups in a different part of your page. And I know that SumoMe all scroll box. So if you're finding that 75% of your users do stay 50% on your page, then you can enable this email pop-up to come into someone's screen when somebody scrolls down 50%. So it's just being smarter about everything, because if you're not keeping track of everything, it didn't happen. And when you keep track of things, you can improve upon what your users are actually doing and and you can see how your users are actually using your website. You think you place something in the right spot, you might actually not if nobody's clicking on it. So you might need to switch that up. And I mean, to Juan's point about A/B testing, you could run your own tests where you try something new, and then you can see all the analytics, and then you could try something else. You can try something differently, and then you can get the feedback back from that. So that's basically what I would know about doing A/B testing. It's not ideal, but Google Analytics. I mean, with the heat maps, I don't know how to set up heat maps with Google Analytics, but with SumoMe, I think heat maps are a really great tool and a must for any website.
Yeah, there's some tools like that too out there. I can't think of what his name is, but he started. Here, let me see. Is it Neil Patel? I think is his name. CrazyEgg.com is a website that has heat maps and visitor visual website analytics. So that's something that you might also take a look at. Is CrazyEgg.com. And SumoMe, I know, does that kind of stuff. And like, Matt is right that you've got to really know how people are behaving on your website. There's a thing called below the fold. And it's basically like taking a piece of paper, taking your website and folding it in half, that most people do not make it below the fold. And it's weird to think about, but human behavior, there's certain ways that we read, even newspapers. When somebody reads a newspaper, it's laid out a certain way because of the way that we read. And so certain ads are placed in specific locations because that's going to get the most people hitting those ads. And it's just the same as a website. And so I'm seeing that one called Hotjar and Mouseflow are also both great. I haven't seen those, but I'll make sure that you check those out. Google Analytics, Google Analytics is not the easiest for the average person, but it's something that you should install. It doesn't cost anything to do that. A lot of themes like Optimized Press and the themes that I use make it really easy to plug the code from Google into the theme so that it follows all of that stuff for you. Jetpack, which some people who are WordPress experts will say is a resource hog, but for me, I like it just because I can get analytics very easily and see which articles people are reading the most, because that not only like when people are only reading a fourth of a way down your blog post, you want to see which blog posts are being read the most, because if it's certain content that you're writing about that people enjoy, then that's a signal to write more about that type of stuff. And if there's certain topics that just aren't seeing a lot of visits to that page, well, then you might take a look at the page, you might take a look at the post, or you might just stop talking about that particular topic because there might not be any interest for that kind of stuff. So, I mean, those are some great points. And Lead Pages does that too, has the analytics built in so that you can see which lead pages that you create are converting the most, so that you can build more of the same type of pages or go with something different. And Lead Pages not only has a bunch of their own free templates, but now they also have a marketplace where you can go and purchase templates that people have created. And Matt was telling me that Optimized Press is doing the same thing with what type of stuff? Themes or?
They offer 50 themes. I don't know if that's your question.
Well, I thought you said that they were allowing, because templates, you told me that you could design templates for Optimized Press and sell it in their marketplace.
Oh, yeah. I could sell it in their marketplace.
Yeah. Are those themes?
Templates only work with Optimized Press, so.
Yeah. But well, and that's the same thing with Lead Pages. They work in their, on that format, and then you can buy them in their marketplace. But what kind of stuff is it that they're selling in their marketplace? WordPress themes or?
Oh, and it's just selling like their pages basically, because
Oh, okay.
Things that you could do within Optimized Press. They're just selling their. So I could sell my homepage for if I want to for $20.
That design.
My theme for it, or $10. I could sell my login pages. I could sell my membership pages. And whatever else, my sales pages, how I design those, I could sell the templates if I wanted to, and that would be another source of income, revenue stream.
Yeah. So are we done talking about analytics and ready to move on to letting Christy just talk some about Weebly and let people know some other options out there for creating websites? Because WordPress right now is about 25% of the world's websites, but there are other tools out there that are both free and affordable, and she uses Weebly, so we wanted her to talk about it just a little bit. So are you ready for that, Christy?
We'll open. Okay.
Okay, go for it.
Yay, Christy.
Come on down. Oh my God, you're driving down the road.
Oops, just hit a bear. Can you guys hear
I don't
me
know
okay?
if we should let you blab with us if you're driving. Oh my gosh.
You're funny.
Wow.
I like that.
Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. I'm using XSplit, and I can't hear my microphone the way it's all set up. So it's
What's
so
that?
cool.
What the heck is that behind you? A monitor?
It's actually, I've got my green screen, and so I'm running in XSplit. You can play media files, and so that's what I have in the background behind me, so you can see.
That's cool.
Wow.
Yeah. It really works well. It does require a bit of power. The problems I've had when I've tried to do blabs in the past and use stuff like this, it bombed. It was a bit epic fail because I was trying to use a laptop that, it would get all chunky. I tried all the stuff like Manycam, but XSplit I think has been the most successful one so far. As a matter of fact, just for fun, I'll show you. I'll just play
I feel
this
like
over
I'm
top of
watching
me.
Conan O'Brien or something.
Oh, it's backwards. Darn it. Oh, it's backwards for me, but is it forward?
It's forwards. It's forward.
Okay, cool. So you can do stuff like that, and you can do multiple scenes here. Let me see here.
I hope I don't get
Switch
motion
to
sickness.
Oh, sorry about that. So what I'll do is
No,
I'll switch over and see if you can see the problem with trying, like you guys say, it's really to do screen share is kind of tough for if somebody's watching on a mobile device. But this barely fits in here, and I tested it out on a test blab. And I'm glad they finally created a test zone so that I could check, you do the sizing so you could try to do something with it. But it's a little bit sketchy here. As you can see this, this is the Weebly, and this is the website. So like you guys wanted me to talk about Weebly, how it kind of evolved was, I was looking for something. It was like back in 2012, 13, something quick that I could just do blogs on and point my YouTube videos to and try to get some traffic. And I was interested in like the Amazon affiliate thing. And of course they turned me down twice because I was too inept to drive any traffic to my website. And I built my YouTube following with, I've only got like 108 followers. But I was blogging about epipaleo, leptin reset kind of stuff with paleo kind of a diet. So I made a little over 100 videos, and I would make vlog posts on my, let's go in and look at the site here real quick, just to give you an idea. Not knowing what I'm doing here I had no experience with blogging. So what I did was I put my YouTube channel button there on the main front page, and you could scroll down and you could get my other YouTube pages, my blog, Periscope replays, things like that. And that was at the stage I was at the time. And then added clickables down here, and I put a contact form at the bottom. And then I evolved to this where I use the menu. And like I said, most of my vlogging was being done here. And I've got IFTTT, if this then that, posting some stuff here. So it stuck it there. So my new video things are showing up there regardless. But let me get back here. This is kind of weird to do in this. It's in XSplit, it's one of the types of sharing. You can share a web URL, and it comes out a lot better because then you don't have to like do screen zooms in. You can actually just use your scrolling.
Yeah, now they're working on screen sharing, right, with Blab?
Yeah, this works real well. This XSplit stuff.
I think what they should do is that when somebody's screen sharing like that the other two, like Matt and myself, that our squares would go smaller and allow yours to take up more space, so it makes it easier to see that stuff.
Yeah, because if you took two squares, then you could have pretty much a 16:9 kind of experience if they could manage to paste those, weave those together somehow.
Yeah, and then just put like the other two people like down in the corner of that screen or something until the focus turns back to them or something like that.
Yeah, and what I wanted to get at, this is all kind of to explain why I stuck with Weebly, because I have installed Joomla and WordPress on my local server just to learn it, but I've been real scared over the past couple of years with hearing about security and with my experience with Verizon, and I was on the Fios TV app, and I was also did server support, and so it's very scary to get into a production environment and get hacked. So I've been avoiding doing anything with moving anything there. Plus the fact that I don't really have any traffic. I didn't have a product to sell until I got this first Udemy course out, and so I've stuck with Weebly, and it takes very little time to deal with it. Plus, you can do things like put the Google Analytics tags. It's very easy to put the tags in there for like your conversion pixels and any other stuff you want to put in the header and footer. And I put like a MailChimp form in there that pops up. I think it's after 5 seconds, an optional opt-in form. Haven't got any bites on that yet, so I seem to be an epic fail at all this kind of stuff. I've been a corporate slave most of my life, so being an entrepreneur is still epic fail for me. But so I
you only fail if you give up. So
okay, and so what I did was I made a landing page, just a simple, and all I did is I stuck the one graphic on there with a link to my Udemy coupon. So that I really haven't done much with it, but I did want to bring up the fact that Weebly has upgraded to something they call it Carbon, and I don't know if I'm going to be charged any more for it or not. But they're getting into having like an app center with different things. So they're trying to emulate the WordPress plugin kind of thing here, and then you can see what apps that you've got. It has it does some SEO. It has. The other thing attracted me to it, but again, not being able to drive traffic to my site, how are people going to buy my products? But it does have commerce, and I thought that was really attractive. And I thought, well, maybe I could sell some digital products that way. So, but it's really easy to use, and I don't have to dedicate, much time to it at all. So
yeah, and that's a subscription monthly, right?
Right, and let me go back to where is it? Back to the W. Build. Sorry about that. Let's see how I get back to the store or to the.
Just real quick while you're doing that, somebody else has mentioned Wix.com. Yeah, absolutely. That's one of the ones that Matt and I had talked about too, is an option. So if you're not comfortable with going to WordPress, Wix.com is another site like Weebly that allows you to create websites kind of on the fly.
Yeah, and I thought it was it's got a lot of nice themes. So it was really nice to use. I'll go back over here if I can get my scene to transition. Yeah.
You're back.
Yeah. So
cool.
Yeah, I've been wanting to move over to WordPress, but I've been hesitant to do it until I actually have something. Am I even going to succeed at selling anything? So, But
Well, it looks like that you're doing a good job with the course. I've seen some positive reviews come in, and it looks like it's, you're adding students and all of that. And it's actually, I think, on using Skype for household security, right?
yeah, basically anything that you to set it up so that you can have privacy and make sure that people can't pop into your house and unexpectedly, and different use cases like checking in with your pets during the day if you're worried about them, your pet's lonely, or checking in on your elderly parent who still wants to be independent. And you're like, in my case, I was like an hour and 15-minute drive from my mother's house, and it was wonderful. I could work at my house in Tampa and keep an eye up on her up in here in Homosassa. But yeah, so Skype was my intro to that sort of thing, and then I found along the way settings that I could use, for making sure that I didn't scare her in the middle of the night, and so that's kind of how that evolved.
That wouldn't be good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, I had never thought about that, because I use Skype as a communication tool, and I had, no thought about that. Because I always, like, when we had our dog Maggie, I was always like, it would be kind of interesting to have a camera just to see how dogs or cats behave when we're not home.
Yeah, and somebody just put out a YouTube video where they mounted a GoPro on their German Shepherd and watched him the whole time that they were gone. It's hilarious. I'll post it. I'll post it on my timeline.
Yeah, that would be funny. Matt, you could watch Izzy tearing up the place.
Yeah.
Well, I'm home most of the day, so I could see with my own. She sleeps most of the day.
Yeah,
you'll probably get a viral YouTube video out of it. Yeah. Part time, I'll
get rich from.
Yep, have it end up on the news and stuff. That'd be really cool.
Yeah, you never know. I've seen some funny stuff with animals, like that one where you see the one where the bears got in the swimming pool in the hot tub?
Yeah.
That was crazy. It looked like they were actually having a party.
That was great.
Yeah. Well, thanks. I appreciate knowing a little bit more about that, because I've always, I used to build websites using active server pages from Microsoft, the hard coding type. And then when I came across WordPress, I was like, wow, this allows me to crank out websites, quality looking websites, and maintain them, and not have to go in and learn that coding and stuff like that in order to make a website more functional and more dynamic. And so WordPress was what I went with. It allows me to do that. It has the plugins and the themes and stuff like that we were talking about, but I wanted to let people know that there's other options out there. Just get online. Just get a website up, especially if you're a Udemy instructor, an author, or an entrepreneur. You need an online presence in order to start building a following, in order to sell what you're an expertise in. Otherwise, people aren't going to know you from, from Jack or whoever. So, yeah. I like that view. Whoa.
I love that little dog. It was a next door neighbor dog. He's part Siberian Husky and part Labrador.
You need to get something like with the Bay Bridge or something like that behind you. Just,
yeah.
Or the Space Needle, and just let people think that you're traveling in different cities or something like that.
I want to do like a rickshaw thing.
Oh yeah. or behind you, passengers in an airplane, so it looks like you're sitting on a plane. That would be
awesome.
Funny. Yeah. Cool. Well, I don't know about you, Matt. Do we does anybody have any questions before we kind of start wrapping it up? You can either do a /Q and then a space and your question, or you can type the question, or if you have a question for Christy, Matt, myself, and you want to come in real quick and ask that question. I'm only saying that because we're going on an hour and a half right now, and I have been running around to doctor's appointments and lunches and all of that. And I love doing this kind of stuff, but I'm also thinking about like taking my shoes off and relaxing and getting some work done once we're done with the blab today. Because I always get ideas like during blabs. I see Matt was writing down some notes, so Matt probably has some stuff that as well while we were talking that he wants to do when we're done too. Christy, what do you have going on? Like, are you working on another course right now?
Well, I was kind of burned out after I got this first one done because it was a real push for the Black Friday thing. And I got some ideas running around because I'm kind of thinking I'm not going to get any sales out of the course that I produced. And whether I should just, switch into, I don't know, technical courses or...
I think another Skype course would be good for you because I don't think that people really understand the power of Skype, like consulting, using it for consulting or using it for families to stay in touch in different parts of the world, to share things like the birth of a baby, or something else like where a family member is like in the military or the family member lives in a different part of the country. Because my mom still has that, like she uses her iPhone, but there's nothing better than face-to-face chat with a family member. And like even my cousin, who's about the same age as me, she doesn't use Skype. And so, of course, teaching people how easy it is, and it's a free tool. And you can also use it for a few bucks more to make international calls. I got rid of my cell phone for a year and used Skype. So I think that might be a good idea, is maybe another Skype course or something like that.
Even business uses, like when I was at Verizon, at one point I was training all the people over in India on FiOS TV support. And also we were doing, I was on the 10 p.m. to, it was the graveyard shift, and doing deployments. And what I would do was I had Skype out that I was paying for, and I would make a group of like all the different the video head and end offices. You'd have to call them and conference in the developers, and then go through and test the software to make sure that the change was okay. And so I would make a group, and then make a group call and pull all those people into the call. It was an invaluable tool.
So you work for Verizon in a call center environment, or?
I was working here in Tampa we were like the DevOps kind of thing. We worked with the developers, and then we worked with the head end offices to deploy the software. So we were basically supporting the application. Prior to that, I did the server support, like on retail coffee billing SQL servers, and we did deployments and stuff on the server side. So then I moved over to the app side for FiOS TV, and so we were kind of like the in-between. So we had to teach. We had, I think, about 50 people over in India that were gearing up to do the support of the application 24/7. So I was also training them on how to support the application and troubleshoot it and all that sort of thing. So, and documenting it for them, and that's where I got into using a product called Demo Builder, and that's what I used partly to develop my Udemy course. So.
Interesting. Hey, Matt, are you getting feedback on your side with her audio?
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, I wasn't sure, like if it was just me or.
It might be picking up my computer fan. That's the.
Yeah,
I've had to do a lot of audio editing with Audacity to cut out the computer fan sound because it was.
You know what I did to get rid of that?
What's that?
I bought a MacBook Pro because it doesn't put any fan noise out at all.
Yeah.
The fan even if I'm running Camtasia, very rarely does the fan ever come on in this. And there are PCs like with again, going back to solid state drives, that's one of the benefits of that is that it doesn't have enough moving parts anymore to warrant having a fan. A MacBook Air I don't even think has a fan at all because it just doesn't heat up enough. And I was doing some research in the studio because that was my biggest frustration with my HP that I had. It made the worst fan noise, and I said, forget it. I'm tired of this. So I saw Matt make a face when I was talking about that.
I thought I might have to take and put the computer somewhere across the room and then run wires over here and like create a sound cage for it or something.
Yeah. Computer fans are the worst.
It's a gaming PC. I want to have enough graphics power to do stuff like this. XSplit on Blab.
Yeah, true. So Matt, what are you working on?
Well, I just wanted to wrap up too, if that's okay. And
I'm ready to go. So
okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Did I talk too long?
No,
no,
it's okay. I just I was just planning on wrapping up.
You
guys can keep talking, but I'll wrap up and get out of here. And whatever you guys want to do, whatever you guys want to do.
I'm ready to wrap. I'm ready to wrap up. Even though I'd love to stay around and talk to Christy, I'm ready to go take my shoes off and get some videos up to Udemy and
why are you even wearing shoes?
Because I just walked in from my appointment. That's why.
I'm sorry, guys. Did I talk too long?
No, not at all. Even though the Udemy Black Friday promotion is over, you didn't talk that long at all.
But I do.
So, Matt, where can we find you online?
All right. Well, let me just do my closing things. Okay. So
here we go.
All right. I just think it's really cool that we're on like a new platform, Blab, because it could eventually be life-changing if Blab grows and grows and grows, because we're on it so early that as time goes by and as Blab grows, we're going to keep amassing followers, right? So imagine if we were just on like YouTube in 2007, how life-changing that would be to just keep amassing followers for the last 8 years. Like it's huge. And we're doing this Blab right now. There are 11 people, including, or 10 people now, including us three who are the hosts. So it's just like, it's probably going to take us like 8,000 blabs for us to even make it to the point where we want to be in front of thousands of people. If we want to make it to that point, I think I would like to eventually make it to that point where our faces are in front of thousands of people, helping people, giving them advice. So, I mean, even though we only have 7 people here that we're teaching, 7 people teaching 7 people is better than teaching just 1. So I encourage people to start doing their blabs, start doing YouTube videos, start doing anything that you want. And even if you're getting only 30 or 50 views, it's better than none, and you're starting, and it's going to take a lot of hard work, and it might take 8,000 pieces of content for you to actually make it somewhere. But if depending on why you're doing this, if you're very passionate about it, you can't give up, because if you do give up, then, I mean, were you really that passionate about it to begin with? So, we're closing up here. So I just think it's important to, or at least I'm closing up. It's just important to just engage the audience that you do have and start by just doing one at a time. And for the people who stayed, thank you. Here is my free Udemy course about how to create your first WordPress site and how to market it to your Udemy students, or how to market your Udemy courses to students. So I encourage you to grab that, and thank you so much for listening. And anything, just message me on Udemy. I'm here to help you.
Great. And now that you're done, everybody's gone. So Christy and I, no, I'm just kidding. I did notice that Christy's got more props than you and I do. Oh, actually, you and I now together have one more prop than she does total.
I was when Christy joined in, she had more props than us.
I know. So we know that she's got a huge following. So Christy, what do you want to end with?
I just want to make sure I didn't do something wrong.
What do you mean?
I'm going to post in a link for some WordPress resources This is from a previous blab that I did. It's got some good links to some of the plugins and stuff like that that I use on WordPress, some good resources like WordPress.org. So I just want to remind people that there's a lot of stuff out there. I believe there's a link for some of my courses to take for free or maybe at a low price. And I teach a couple using WordPress because I love WordPress. I could talk about WordPress all day. And I'll be creating another course on WordPress here pretty soon now that I am on my own and nobody else is in the house to make noise while I'm creating courses. Get your $1 courses here. So, yeah.
OneBuckCourses.com, man.
You know what?
Education. I bought a Fiverr course for $1 and I've been getting a lot of sales and adding value to people's lives, so that makes me happy.
I know I need to take that course that I told you should take. I started it, but I haven't finished it, and that's my problem. Hey, look at that. See, if I keep talking a little bit, my props go up. Thank you very much, and thanks for giving Matt props there. But yeah, Fiverr actually, just real quick, is a really cool tool. So take a look at that. And Matt, that's cool to know that by taking that course that you're seeing some results on Fiverr. And I need to take that, and I need to take a course that he's taking from some of the stuff that he talked about in his closing marks. I know where that comes from. It comes from Gary Vaynerchuk's. What he has taken away from Gary's course, he's told me it's a life-changing course, and I need to watch that. It's on Udemy, and if you're a Udemy instructor, I definitely would recommend watching that, because if Matt says that it's life-changing, that I know that it's life-changing. And I bought it when it was $24. He bought it when it's still $10 today, so you can go out there and look for it. I've been promoting it because I started watching it. I know who Gary Vaynerchuk is. I've been following him for a couple of years. He's well known for his wine business, and he's an immigrant from Russia, and my mom immigrated from Switzerland. And so, I feel a connection with people who come to our country and build a business and a following, and he's certainly done that online. And I mean, he's everywhere. You see him on like the Tonight Show and all of that. So take a look at that, and I appreciate you following us. You can follow me at DennisJSmith.com. Sometimes I go by DJ. Sometimes I have no clue who I am. But thanks. And thanks, Matt. And Christy, you have one final word before we go?
Thanks for having me on. I hope
I don't know what you're staring at. You're like staring at a... She's probably playing a video game right now.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Much better.
Okay. I want to thank you for having me on, and I hope I didn't overstay my welcome.
Nope, not at all. We love you. We love having you on. We love the images that you put out. I remember the one that you put out on accident and you wanted me to delete it. I can't remember what it was, but it was a good laugh. So we certainly appreciate you joining us and spending time out of your day. Same with Barbara, who I don't think she's here today. She might be doing some other stuff, but there's some people who follow Matt and I, and we certainly appreciate it. So we look forward to chatting with you again.
Thank you, Christy. You didn't overstay your welcome. I just get cranky after an hour and 45 minutes.
Go have another grilled cheese.
I'm sorry.
All right, I'm going to click out, everybody.
All right.
All right. Bye now. Have a great day, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. Have a great rest of your Black Friday promotion.